So today we're going to be talking about tick and flea insecticides or medications, spot-ons, oral medication, shampoos, all sorts of things that we would use for preventing tick or fleas. I would quickly like to introduce you to a couple of people that we are actually going to talk about and use their research in this video. One is Rodney Habib. He is a pet holistic wellness advocator. He has his own YouTube channel, he's got his blog, he's been on TED Talk, and he pretty much travels all over the world and advocates a lot of holistic wellness style of rearing for your dogs. And there is a doctor called Judy Morgan who has done a peer-reviewed research paper on these tick and flea insecticides that we're going to be talking about today, and Rodney talks about it in his video, and we're just going to try and sort of bring that research out because a lot of people may not be aware of the fact that this research is even being done and what the conclusions were.
Hey guys, sorry we're having some tech problems. I just wanted to jump on here very quickly and talk about a brand new study that came out that our good friend Dr. Carla Kassey sent us. This is a kind of like an urgent study she wanted me to tell pet parents about. Check it out. There's a lot of flea and tick products, of course, circulating around the world right now. It's springtime in most parts of the world, so a lot of people are using insecticides to keep their pets safe and protected. The new study that came out, it's labeled The Effects of Fipronil on Emotional and Cognitive Behavior in Animals. And it talks about, what is potentially going on when veterinarians and pet parents are going to the clinics and they're getting these type products, whether they come in like, chewable caplets or they come in these little like squeeze bottles and they're putting it on their pets. Some pets are seeing or suffering through different types of reactions, like they seem a little bit anxious, a little bit excited. Dogs and cats might, have some sort of stress reaction. So the scientists want to know why this is going on. Now, the term Fipronil is the insecticide that's used in a lot of these products that you will see.
That is what triggered this study, and the results have, honestly, to me, been a little scary enough for me to think that, oh my God, I think everybody should know about this, because I don't think we talk about it enough. I don't think we are told that there are side effects. I don't think we are told that there are possible side effects like death. And so it is important to talk about this, and the results of this study are just supremely important for all pet parents to know about.
Fipronil is a very popular, in fact, it may be the most popular worldwide distributed veterinary drug used to control fleas and ticks. It's not just though in clinics, you can also find it in hardware stores. So check it out right there. Fipronil, as you'll see, granular ant killer. This is something, of course, you can put around your property or around your lot, and it'll like obliterate ants. You'll also find like sprayable products. Like here, look, this will obliterate termites and insects. There it is right there, Fipronil. So companies have taken these type of products and they put them in these like squeezable liquid type droppers for you to apply on your pet, or they've sort of put them in these caplets. Now, before we keep going, this is really important. I know some people might be watching this and maybe somebody might have a genius idea. Do not put any of these products onto your pets. These are heavily concentrated products. You will severely hurt your pet. Where is it ending up? Where is stuff like this actually going in the body? This is kind of shocking. Check this out.
So there are two parts to the study. Researchers wanted to know that obviously why is there a reaction? Why are dogs acting or behaving funny? And feeling funny after even a topical insecticide has been put on their skin. So they wanted to know what is happening when the medicine is put on your dog or cat, and where is it actually going? Does it enter the body? Does it go into your bloodstream? Does it go to organs? Watch this. The results were scary, to say the least.
It makes its way through the adipose tissue, the testes, the liver, the adrenal glands, the kidneys, the spleen, the heart, the olfactory bulbs, the cerebrum, the cerebellum, the brain. It's actually going everywhere. In fact, they were testing these levels 5 days in and they still found this product circulating everywhere. But yes, it was ending up in the brain. So the new study, of course I had to pay for this. I'll drop the link to the abstract to the study in the comment section. But if you go into the discussion section, when this stuff was going into the brain, was it causing issues? According to the scientists, they theorize, yes, so.
So some of the side effects that the scientists are now concluding that these medicines can cause in your pets is it has an effect on the levels of serotonin and dopamine released by the brain into your dog's body. It interferes with the chemical receptors somehow, and this will have an impact on the sleep. It will have an impact on digestion. It will have an impact on processing. It will have an impact on short-term and long-term memory and a feeling of anxiety and unrest. So this is a lot of impact for something which is put on your dog's skin as a pesticide for ticks and medication, ticks and fleas.
Now, is this the only type of Fipronil study that's come out in the past? No, there's a bunch of links in here referencing it. First of all, in 2008, Fipronil was shown to attach to the GABA receptors in the brain. So this is already shown in the past. In 2012, they were able to show that Fipronil causes oxidative stress in the body by creating what's called ROS, reactive oxygen species. This wreaks havoc on the body. Study in 2016, which again showed that it was causing short-term and long-term memory issues. And then finally in 2020, Fipronil was found to change the levels of dopamine and 5-HT in vertebrates and in invertebrates' brains. There's a whole bunch of research. In fact, this isn't the first time we're seeing Fipronil in the news, even this year. Check it out. 5 months ago, The Guardian posted an article, Pet Flea Treatments Poisoning Rivers Across England. I had a whole bunch of environmentalists and friends send me this study. The new study was published in the Journal of Science and Total Environment.
It is actually poisoning the river wildlife. It renders me speechless sometimes. That is the effect that it is having on the environment at large, on animals that need to have no contact with Fipronil whatsoever, including our cats and dogs. So a big problem with Fipronil getting out into the environment at large, other than the obvious problems we are going to be seeing that they're causing for our dogs and cats, is that one single pipette of Fipronil is capable, has enough pesticide in it that is capable of killing 60 million bees. One application. That's how much pesticide it has in one pipette.
So, this might flood people onto other products. There's some other popular products onto the market. So you might be seeing things like Brevecto, NexGard, Simparica, Crudelio, Revolution. Isozoline is used in a lot of these products, and this has been a huge topic all last year. I know the problem is with the pandemic, it literally suppressed a lot of news. Go to the FDA, the Food and Drug Inspection Agency in America. Check it out. This is for veterinarians and pet owners. Fact sheet for pet owners and veterinarians about the potential adverse events associated with isozoline flea and tick products.
It's worth looking at what the government has already found out that these products can do to your pets.
This is a huge problem that not a lot of people know about. So if you take your brand of flea and tick product, you Google the FDA, odds are this article will pop up. Check it out. Their words, not mine. Isozoline products have been associated with neurological adverse events like seizures.
As a holistic wellness practitioner, I speak to a lot of clients. Tick and flea prevention. A lot of my clients are very interested in doing natural rearing, holistic wellness, try and reduce the chemical footprint in their dog's food, environment, and bodies. And so we do end up talking about tick and flea prevention. And sometimes they've already done the spot on, sometimes they've already done the oral medication, and it gets a little tricky to break this to them. But here is, and sometimes I get a response saying, but nothing happened to my dog. And you're lucky. That's all I can say about it. And nothing's happened to your dog that you are aware of or that you can see yet is the answer to it. Because 66% of dogs reported some sort of adverse effects, ranging from death, seizures, heart attacks, paralysis, loss of feeling in certain limbs. These are all self-reported conditions immediately post administering the oral medication. So 66% of pets experiencing adverse effects to a particular medication is not a safe medication. And if you are one of those others in the minority that nothing happened to your dog, it's probably because your dog is probably in a better health condition, or you have not seen the results or the effects of it yet. And they might just be internal, like increased liver toxicity. So the only way to really make sure that your dog does not suffer from any adverse effects is to not put pesticides into their bloodstream or into the gut. Having said all of this, we do live in a country where we have stray dogs and streeties, and we live in a country where it's hot and humid and it's excellent breeding ground for ticks and fleas. We have seasons where ticks and fleas are going to be very prevalent. It is important for us to have some defense against these. So we'll talk about some things that can be done, because the video is not going to make sense if we are simply going to be saying, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, because it is hard. We do need, this is me, we do need some defense against them, and we will have to find solutions, and most natural remedies or preventatives or repellents are not going to be as effective or as strong as the chemical ones are. So that is something we have to be prepared for also.
Now, I reached out to the good doctor, Dr. Karen Becker, the most followed veterinarian in the entire world, told her what was going on, shared the study with her. She pulled out some stuff out of our new book that's coming out called The Forever Dog. There is now a support detox PDF, free PDF for people who are using these products, that have to use these products but want to detox their pets. As always, we put all our free stuff on the foreverdog.com. So all you got to do is scroll down. I know sometimes it's hard to find. People will say, you'll see a little section right there. You click on it. At least you'll get a free PDF of what to do. There's a whole bunch of publications and research journals for people that want extra science. It's all in there.
Okay, so what are the few things that I do with my dogs? I recommend that we to my clients as well when they ask me what is my alternative. There is no alternative to building up your dog's immune system and making sure that your dog is in great shape so that you're not going to end up with infestation. So that's one. Overall holistic health and immunity must be the focus of your well-being regime for your dog. The second thing that can be done is gut. Do not underestimate the power of having a healthy gut microbiome, because your fleas and ticks do come with diseases. They come with the potential to make your dog a little anemic because they're literally sucking the blood out of them. Your gut microbiome is your defense. That is your immunity. And a lot of our problems for our dog's health start in the gut, because the gut microbiome is just not strong enough. We don't focus on it till something goes wrong. And that is not how thriving microbiome colonies work. in order for anybody to thrive, they just need to be looked after all the time, not just when they are not doing well. So that's one. Probiotics, prebiotics, part of your diet all the time, should not be underestimated. There are products in the market now, and there is herbal concoctions of powders, there is aromatherapy based sprays, there is natural sprays or powders or packs that you can put on your dog periodically before giving them a bath, that can actually help with repelling, preventing, and perhaps getting rid of a few ticks and fleas that the dog may already have. So what would be a regime that I typically tend to recommend? Apple cider vinegar. So organic apple cider vinegar, unfiltered with mother, is an amazing thing for the skin and the hair and in general for health. So 1:1 proportion with filtered water, and you rub it in to the skin, like really get it in there and massage it in, and then let your dog air dry. Your dog will smell a little vinegary for a bit, but I think that's a okay price to pay. Brush your dog down as they are semi-drying and they dry. It is a really good hair conditioner. So it really makes the hair soft and shiny, and fleas don't like it at all. Ticks don't like it very much either. You can use a tick and flea comb to check your dog while they're wet or dry to see whether you find any ticks and fleas on them to start with. Check between the paw digits, check at the bottom of the paws, behind the ears, under the tail, base of the tail on the top. These are all the usual suspects along with the spinal cord. So these are the typical usual suspects where it's warm and there's a high level of blood supply, and so it makes sense for ticks and fleas to be there as their source of food. You can also look for a flea dust, which is blackish, deep red color dust particles that may fall off in the brush. You can sit with a white colored tissue paper and just tap your brush on there or your flea and tick comb on there and see whether these particles fall off, because that would be a sign that your dog actually does have fleas on the body. So their fleas are sometimes harder to see and notice or even know that they're there than ticks are, because they're very fast and they can't get away. So while you are trying to look for them, they would have just gone off already. Ticks are stupider. They just stay put where they are and they're easier to catch. So vigilance is definitely something that pays off. Checking your dog very, very regularly and being aware, because ticks and fleas have a rapid life cycle, which means they will hatch, mature, breed, lay eggs and die, all in a very, very short period of time. So if you're not going to be vigilant and you're not going to catch them as quickly as possible to stop that life cycle, you are going to end up with an infestation, because each tick or flea will potentially be able to lay anywhere between 200 to a couple of thousand eggs in their lifetime. So you want to catch that as quickly as possible. So apple cider vinegar is something if you know you have the ticks and fleas, you can do that every day for a week, and then you can sort of space it out to be once a week. Some of the packs and herbal concoctions of powders that are meant to be mixed up in coconut oil or neem oil and applied onto the body and then washed off after an hour with a mild shampoo can be done every month during tick and flea season, but then perhaps slow it down a notch to every couple of months when it's not tick and flea season. So that you're not overbathing your dog and you're not constantly washing off the natural oil secretion that the skin does and needs to retain on it. So overbathing your dog is a thing, and it's not a good idea to do. A lot of people ask me how often my dogs get bathed, but he is 3 and Minnie is going to be 4 in September, and they both had 2 baths each so far. Both times it was with the herbal concoction for the tick and flea prevention. They do have the apple cider vinegar rub downs quite often, but that's not a bath because that doesn't get rinsed off. There's no shampoo involved and there's just nothing involved. I put it on them and let them air dry, and that's about it. They get brushed. So that's their routine. Dichromic earth. This is a natural silica that is found in nature, and there is a food grade available. So you can, if you look, Google it up, DE powder, you will see that they are microscopic, really sharp, very pretty looking silica, basically. And because they are sharp and they have these beautiful diamond-like structures, they tend to, so when we sprinkle this on our dog's body and on the furniture, you can do it on the floor, you can do it on your bedding, you can do it on your dog bed, you can pretty much put it everywhere if it is food grade. And when the ticks and fleas walk on this, the sharp edges of these particles will cause little cuts on their underbellies, which will then cause them to dehydrate and die. Is this a foolproof method of doing this? No, it isn't, but it beats poisoning your dog. So I would give it a try. Also, you will have to repeat this process. So if you are going to put DE powder around your house or in corners of the house, and like we do with ant powders, you could probably leave it there and vacuum it up every couple of days and put in some fresh powder. With your dogs, if you've already seen tick and fleas on your dogs, then I would recommend powdering them every day till you stop seeing them, or till you stop seeing obvious signs like itching and discomfort or wounds happening. And then you can just use it as a preventative once a week and then brush them down the next day. So this is the way I use DE a lot of the times. DE is sharp in its structure. So the thing to be careful with is when you put it on your dog, you part the hair and you put the powder in, you're not going to massage it into the dog. You might create scratches. So DE is also used as in packs and stuff like that, and it's not a good idea to exfoliate with it or create friction with it. It will cause scratches on the skin. So be careful with that and you should be okay. It creates no burning sensation on wounds or anything from tick bites, so it's safe to be used. Apple cider vinegar, on the other hand, if you're going to use on an open wound, will burn like Dettol does. So be a little aware when you're doing the apple cider vinegar soap rub downs that you're not going to be putting it directly on the tick bites or wounds where you've already noticed there are. So if you can just avoid those places, it won't burn so much. What is the other thing that can be done? I have heard that pure cold pressed organic neem oil mixed with a little bit of camphor and massaged into the skin, left on for an hour, it works really well as a preventative. It also works really well as a disinfectant and an antiseptic on wounds and bites that the dog may already have as well. The camphor creates a inhospitable environment. The camphor really soaks in, pulls in oxygen from its surrounding areas, and it creates an uncomfortable situation for the ticks and fleas around them. So and then of course you have to give your dog a bath with a shampoo. Water and soap suds or the shampoo foam actually renders ticks and fleas immobile for a little bit. If you've done the neem and camphor beforehand, they're probably more likely to be immobile. And so if you get a really good lather going, and if you really get a good massage in and try and get everything off of the skin, because the ticks and fleas are temporarily immobilized, maybe you'll catch them in the soap suds and then kill them. So ticks and fleas don't die in water. Rinsing this off just because they look like they're not moving in the soap suds, rinsing it out and just letting it all go down your drain may be a dangerous thing to do, because if they manage to catch on to or get a grip on the pipes, of your drainage system, they will wait till the water has stopped flowing, and then they will walk their way up back through your drainage into your bathroom. And then you will have ticks and fleas in your house, perhaps a pregnant one who creates a nest, and it will just be a mess. So it is best if you find these in the soap suds or in your foam, you kill them. A couple of ways of killing them is actually just squishing them. The other way to do it is to have a Betadine bowl full of Betadine solution and just pop them in there, and they will die over time. They'll float around for a bit, but they die in a Betadine solution. So that's one way of killing them as well. Other than that, there is some aromatherapy oils that are act as repellents. Ticks and fleas don't like them. There is no real extensive studies that have been done on this, but there is a lot of anecdotal evidence, and people have used them quite successfully. Dogs that live on farms have also used them quite successfully. So it is worth looking at the purer your aromatherapy oil, the better quality your product, and organic ideally is going to be better for your dog in general. So if you look for a really good quality product that's organic and with real essential oils, that acts as a spray before you go out for walks. So these are something that are mild enough, diluted enough for you to be able to use one every day before you walk, or once every few days on the paws, legs, under belly, under the tail area, places where ticks and fleas are likely to hop on to your dog or cat. So you just give them a light spritz. Your dog smells in a particular way, and the ticks and fleas don't like this smell, and hopefully they're likely to sort of avoid this animal and go, I don't want to go there. So that's the idea behind the sprays. The other thing to do with garlic in the food, and this is slightly complex and it is important to get it right. Or it doesn't work, or you can overdo it, which can have other health effects. So the way to do garlic and a build-up of garlic in the system in order to get a tick and flea repellent effect from within the blood is to get your garlic, get the food ready, get your clove of garlic, usually safe. It's always going to be safe for you to go with a smaller, thinner clove of garlic than to overdo it. So if you've got a little dog like a Chihuahua or something really small like a Min Pin, you're going to be looking at a really thin half a clove per day. But anything bigger than that, so we're talking Shih Tzus, Beagles, Lhasa Apsos, that kind of range, we could be talking about a small whole clove of garlic per day. And then anything bigger than that, like boxers, Labradors, Golden Retrievers, with a slightly fatter, thicker clove of garlic, or if you're going to use a thinner one, you could use it twice a day, and so on and so forth. You get the idea about the size of the dog versus the clove of garlic. You get the food ready, you get your grater out, and you grate this clove of garlic onto the food fresh. Set a timer on, wait for 5 minutes. This garlic needs to react to the oxygen in the air. It needs to oxidize. The oxidized reaction is what we want present in the garlic when consumed. So when the dog eats this, and then immediately feed the food once your 5-minute timer is up, because this reaction only lasts for 10 minutes and we need the dog to be eating the food. So you can mix it up if your dog's not liking just a lump of garlic on top. My dogs don't like it. So I just mix it up. And it's so little that in a whole bowl of food, it can just get mixed up when, of course, they notice it because they can smell it, but they don't seem to mind it if it's not in a lump on the top. The dog needs to eat the food then while this reaction is still very much active in the garlic through the oxidation. And this compound in the blood starts building up when you do this every day, and the typical build-up time is anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks. So after 3 or 4 weeks of doing this is when you're actually going to have some repulsion properties via the garlic in the dog's or cat's blood. this is one way of doing it. A lot of people just add garlic to the cooking, or maybe don't crush it, or maybe don't grate it. And the idea behind grating is at the larger surface area, you want most of the garlic to be exposed to the oxygen so that the oxidative process starts. So I realize it's intricate and it can be complex or feel like, oh my God, that's just too much to do. It's worth it. It really is worth it. I don't even do it every single day anymore, but I do it 3, 4, 5 times a week now, and it works. My dogs don't have ticks and fleas. They have never been had any kind of sprays or Fipronil or spot-ons or anything. Their gut health is usually looked after, and so I don't worry much about tick and flea infestations in my house. The thing about infestations is that once you have it, you will be looking at going down the chemical route. There is very little you can do when you've got a couple of thousand ticks in your house other than do chemicals. So the idea with all of these measures is they're either repellent or they're preventatives, and you just prevent the whole infestation as much as possible, and you also get to focus on the overall health of your dog, which is always a bonus. So I hope that these alternative solutions or techniques will help you. Try them out. Tell us what you thought of them. Don't beat yourself up if you've already done the spot-on or the oral medication. Not too much information was available on it. The studies have only just been done. But the thing about finding out more is that once you know better, hopefully we all do better. And that's the whole point behind doing this video, so that as many people as possible, we get to educate and make aware and say, well, now we know. And so hopefully we won't be making the same mistakes again.